Good evening all, welcome back to the countdown to kick-off and the LFC Daytrippers. Tonight's show is brought to you by Manscaped. Visit manscaped.com and use LFC DT at the checkout to get 20% off and free shipping, and all details are in the description on this show. Delighted tonight to be hosted as well on the show. First time for two of us, was a debut, so go easy on us all. But obviously lashing the comments and any questions, just fire away, folks. With Kev O'Sullivan. Kev, how are you, mate? And it's great to get you on to the countdown kickoffs, and obviously this is our first.
This is our first little run together. So yeah, no, I'm looking forward to tonight. I love the League Cup. Can't wait for tonight. Steve is getting his usual in early. Good lad.
Love that, Steve. Yeah, even and all.
Ever the optimist is Steve. But yeah, no, absolutely. I love the League Cup because you get to see players like that are on the screen below. And there's a few surprises in there. I don't think many would have picked that 11.
Yeah.
Especially
well, that's it.
So
yeah, well, young Harvey Blair up front, Kev. We talked about it offline live there, and young Harvey Blair turns down Manchester United in his youth days. Obviously with Liverpool now, well through the youth. Origi, Minamino up there. I think, judging by the lineup from what I'm seeing, I know I just sent in to me on WhatsApp. Origi, look, his best position is up front. It's not out on the wings, I don't think.
No, I don't.
Minamino is better, I think, out on the wing. So where do you think that's going to start? And obviously, we'll go straight into the front three. Yeah. Who do you expect's going to be central, right, and left of that front three?
Ideally, look, I think Divock will play up front. Taki's best position has always been off the left. Look, I'm like everyone else. I haven't seen much of him. I watched him once for the under 19 UEFA Cup game against AC Milan, and he played on the left wing. And I'll be honest, he didn't stand out, But I know he played, and I know that we did all right. But he played off the left wing, so whether he'll go on to the right and Taki stays left, or Taki goes on the right and Blair stays left, we don't know. We'll have to see as the game unfolds. But
absolutely.
This is what you want, young kid making his debut away from home in a cup game. This is why we watch the League Cup. This is why we want to keep going in it. So we get to see more of these kids. There's another one in midfield
and Kevin Ball throws in there. Sorry, Kev. Blair is a winger, that's all I know. Meant to be very good technically. So something on what you touched on there.
Yeah, fingers crossed. I mean, all anyone can hope for tonight is that he does a job. I mean, I've seen in WhatsApp comments tonight, as soon as the lineup was lined up, the amount of people who are like, can't wait to see him, been looking forward to this. So he's known and around the club that he's got a talent. We've all been looking at Kay Gordon and the numbers he's been putting up. So who knows? Exactly. I'm really excited to see this kid tonight. Can't wait.
Absolutely. And Paulie Walnuts throws in there, was hoping Mozielowski, that's obviously our Polish youth player, very good potential as well. Him would even make the bench tonight, and that hasn't happened. What's your take on that, Kev? Were you surprised as well? Because I was, to be honest.
Yeah, I expected to see him and probably one or two others that were pulled from the last under-23 game to be making it. Now, Kay Gordon, we know, is only back in training this week.
That's right,
I didn't expect to see him. But Balagizi is another one. Expected to see him. That's in fairness to Kevin Ball there, I didn't expect Matip to start at all. Maybe
that's why I put that one up there.
Yeah, maybe this is the changing of the guard.
Is it? And I was just going to ask that, Kev. Yeah, we see the weekend against United. Matip out for me was very surprising. But then when I reflected on it, I thought probably not, because Klopp is all about rotation. Klopp is all about squad harmony and about keeping everybody placed and everybody on their toes, but also giving full and trusted faith in everybody. And he's doing great at that at the moment. And that's our biggest strength is that never give up, that unity and that harmony that we have in the squad. But Konate comes in the weekend. Hadn't, to be fair, a lot to do, but what he done was really good. He was very compact, very composed. He was a monster. I mean, it was one-handed push against Fred, that which we all loved and has went viral since. Is it a change in the guard, though? Because Matip comes in for the League Cup game with a lot of youth there, a lot of inexperience, and it's the fourth round, something that Klopp doesn't really get by and doesn't take serious this cup. And look, rightly so, it's the lowest of our priorities.
Yeah, no, I disagree. I prefer the League Cup in a lot of ways, because you can be in a semi-final by January. You can be in a final and have it wrapped up in February. The players are still relatively fresh. You can be out of Europe. You can have your Champions League group wrapped up by the end of this month and still have a semi-final to play, a quarter-final to play in December. And use the squad.
Absolutely.
The longer we're in it, the more interested the likes of Divock are tacky, the more minutes Ox and Jones gets under their belt. For me, the FA Cup is the one that gets it when you're down into the business end of the Champions League, you're into the final run-ins of a Premier League, and you're fitting FA Cup games in as well when your squad is 3/4 the way through a season. It's much tougher. And this way, tonight, we win tonight, we're into a quarter-final. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, that's
and it's 90 minutes.
That is something to look at,
Yeah, it's 90 minutes, penalties, it's done. There's no replays anymore. It's no extra time. So, and 5 subs tonight. So you can gamble a little bit with your squad selection. Maybe someone said in the comments earlier, maybe give Matip an hour and then bring on Phillips for 30 minutes. And maybe he's playing Matip just for the experience, because it is a youthful midfield in front of him. Let's be honest, there's not many minutes, first team minutes in that midfield 3. So having the security of Matip and Joe Gomez maybe sends a signal out that we are taking this a bit more serious than we have done in previous years. Bar the Villa debacle that couldn't be avoided with the World Club Cup.
That's right, with the World Club Cup the next day. Yeah, that was a disaster.
Bar that, I think it's definitely a competition. I think a lot of you look at how strong Chelsea went last night. Arsenal went strong. They're taking it relatively seriously, because the likes of Man United have dropped out. If you're lucky with the draw, you can find yourself in a nice position to wrap up a bit of silverware, So, and it keeps
absolutely, Kev. Yeah. And look, in the modern day, is there, apart from finance, is there much of a difference to win the League Cup and the FA Cup for the top teams? Look, we see the priority is. I remember you're going back now, obviously to over 10 years ago. Kenny Dalglish comes in, wins us a League Cup, gets an FA Cup final, narrowly loses it, and he's lost his job. At a time where there wasn't really anybody else, and Kenny was a club legend and came in and steadied the ship. The owners from that get-go were saying we should be competing for the Premier League and the Champions League, and they're their priorities. And the domestic cups, the message back then was it's not really good enough. Arsene Wenger always got in the top 4. Mightn't have always done as well in the cups, and to me, sometimes that's a bigger achievement. Look, Leicester win the FA Cup last season. They narrowly missed out on the Champions League to get 5th. It was a great for them, for the club, the size, the stature, where they've come from. Brendan Rodgers is a great season, but for Liverpool or Arsenal or Spurs or any of the top so-called 6 or 8 clubs, you want to be getting into the top 4, unless it's 50, 60 years or whatever, you haven't won a piece of silverware in. But for us, it's far more important getting to the Champions League. It's about being in with the elite and the cream of the crop. There's a couple of comments coming in there, Kev. Kieran B is dropped in a few comments about Konate there. He's saying Klopp trying to change with Virgil van Dijk and Konate now. A bit leaky versus Brentford, City, Milan and Atletico. That extra bit of pace at the back beside Trent will work wonders. What do you think of that? Is it a bit harsh to think, because obviously they were really good sides, and United, look, we got the early goal and we suffocated them. And the thing about United was the weekend, without touching back on it, because I know Gav and the lads and Shawnee and that touched on it the other day and News did. But for me, they there's just nothing there from United, and they're a side that just don't do anything off the ball. Do you know what I mean? They've a lot of creativity, a lot of flair up front, but they showed none that the weekend. Obviously, defensively, we were strong. I'm not taking away credit from us, but United were awful, weren't they, to be fair? And I mean, the more goals that went in, we were miles ahead of them, and with the momentum, confidence, belief. And coming into tonight's game as well, going back to Kieran Bees, what do you think of that? Sorry, Kev, I just asked that question. What do you think of that comment?
I don't know if it's that specifically, because for me, the goals that we conceded against Milan were because of the gaps that were allowed by midfield. It wasn't necessarily to do with the back four. The same with Atletico. They were individual errors rather than mistakes made by a centre-back. I don't see it as that. I see it more as, look, if I'm Joe Gomez now, and Konate to a point, but mainly Joe Gomez, I'm looking at it and thinking, look, I'm not getting any younger. I want to go to the World Cup. I need to play. The same will be said to Konate. The same about Konate. The same about Matip. Matip, not so much with international honours, but there's enough minutes in the amount of games that we play throughout a season that you have to have confidence to be able to throw these four in almost in any order and say, look, right, you're good enough to get a result against XYZ side. And it's about time we started rotating. And in fairness, I think there's definitely cases in games that Virgil could do with being pulled once in a while. Just, he's still coming back off a long-term injury, and he's playing 2-3 games a week. And he doesn't need to. He doesn't have to. It's nice that he can. Yeah. But I'd hate to see a situation where we have issues at midfield at the minute. But God forbid, I'd hate to go back and have another issue at centre-back again because of overplaying someone.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, I agree, Kev. And look, I mean, the four centre-backs, Ferg is number one. I'm not saying to toss for coin. Matip for me is two. How composed, compact, how cool he is, and the experience he has is number two. Probably is ahead of Konate. Konate and Gomez, though, are going to have a fight for each other. Gomez has, for a young lad, when I think it was a season or two ago when he was playing regularly for us, had more experience at that elite level than Terry, Ferdinand, all at that age. And Konate is coming in now, 22, potentially going to be world class. I mean, the stature, the size of him, and the experience he has for such a young lad. And he's not 23, I believe, until next year. So, I mean, he's so young as well. And he's definitely one for the future. But he could potentially be a world-class next best French centre-back, you know what I mean, out there, and one of the best in the Premier League. He could be up there right with Ferg, and let's hope so. But we need to nurture him, look after him right, and give him that game time. But also, as you said, mind him. And the same with Ferg, had to come back from a long-term injury. The last thing we want now is another crisis at the back, and hopefully that doesn't happen. And this rotation and keeping players hungry, keeping players aggressive and fighting them on their toes, that's obviously going to benefit us, I think. We're coming in, Kev, tonight's game. We're the informed team, haven't lost a game yet, the only unbeaten team in the Premier League. We're playing Preston, who were beaten the weekend 2-0. They've made a load of changes in the summer. Frankie McAvoy, the manager, they gave a contract that he brought him in short-term in March, and he signed a new long-term deal in May, so he's staying on at the club. I know there's players there, a couple of Irish lads. Brian Burke was one of them, was signed from Rovers. Yeah, Alan Brown, he was sent off basically the last kick of the game the weekend. They went to Blackpool, they're beaten 2-0. I think they're 19th in the league. Blackpool now are 6-7 points ahead of them. Shawnee, a couple of Irish lads. They made a load of changes, but they haven't started off well, Kev. No. So, I mean, what will their thoughts be going in tonight and playing Liverpool? Obviously, they're going to relish this tie, but is this something they're going to be buzzing for? And obviously, some of the lads we've just mentioned, they're going to want game time against Liverpool, aren't they?
This is a shop window for all of them, lads. I was saying it last night. I was living in... I was over here, but I was watching Bristol because I lived in Bristol for a long time. And my wife's a mad Bristol City fan. And we were watching Bristol City against Man United at Ashton Gate. And now, look, they were worlds apart on paper. But on the pitch, on the night, Ashton Gate was full and it was bouncing. And City turned United over. And they didn't do it. It wasn't undeserved. Now, Deepdale will be full. It will be rocking. And if they get any encouragement whatsoever, with the way they set out with a back three, back five, you wouldn't want to be giving sides like this encouragement in one-off games, because this is their FA Cup final, League Cup final, World Cup, Champions League rolled up into one night, where they're on Sky and the eyes of the world is on them. And we've seen the likes of Alan Brown and Shawnee Maguire and well, there's another Scott Sinclair used to be at Chelsea. He was at Bristol Rovers at the start of his career. Went to Chelsea, had some big moves, did really well at Celtic. There's some cuteness and nous in players like that all they have to do is turn up and do something for 90 minutes. They're capable. Don't underestimate sides that are in the Championship as if they're like playing Sunday League stuff. They're not. We should be going and beating them, no doubt about it. But if the mindset is anywhere near wrong, or if we're still high on the result on Sunday and we're not switched on, we've seen it before with Liverpool sides that have gone to lower league opposition and not had the right right mind frame to turn up and get a result and do a job. You have to be professional about this tonight. Go and do a job.
Yeah, I agree, Kev. Yeah. And we do be professional, because there's no messing, and obviously avoid injury tonight. We've still a couple of players out there that we'll need going forward. The likes of Ox, Matip, Gomez, Simicast. These are not players that they're backup players that we'll need. That Curtis Jones, and they're Origi, wherever we think with Minamino. So we can't come here tonight and just think showing up is going to be one thing, because as you mentioned and touched on, they're live on Sky tonight. It's the World Cup, Champions League, Europa League, Premier League, last game of the season. Everything is on these tonight, and it's a shop window for a lot of these players. A lot of these players will be good enough, and they're going to be absolutely very professional and disciplined tonight. We just need to turn up.
Sepp
van der Berg, former player.
Well,
exactly.
He wants to go and show he's playing in a new role for them. He's playing as a wing back.
Fullback, seeing that.
We had him as like a centre back, but since he's gone to Preston, he's played right back. He's now playing as a right wing back, so right midfield. And I'm looking forward to seeing a bit of him and seeing how he's been developing. Because look, I know he was mocked and everything like that when we signed him because of the summer that was in it, but he was in that Dutch under-17 World Cup side with Keanu Hoover that did really well. He's highly tipped, he's highly regarded.
When he came towards it was a huge move, and it was potentially going to be this player that would emerge to be a Van Dijk or a Matip in the future. Obviously that didn't happen, but there's still time, and with him playing now in that position on the right, he will feel he can come in and be some successor to Trent or back up in the future, because here, look, Mika Williams is there, Milner's coming to an end, and look, his best position isn't at fullback, and we've seen that before at right full, and he'll also feel Gomez doesn't want to play there, he wants to be a centre back, so he's probably, going into this game coolly and silently, I can do something and I'll prove it tonight. We'll see what happens. But Kevin Ball did put up a while ago. Neil Critchley, wasn't it? Was the former under-18s manager that beat them at Blackpool now, and he's doing well. So they climbed up the table with that win.
Yeah, and you like to see him doing well because he gets the ball down and he plays proper. He's he plays football in a good way. And after everything that the likes of Blackpool have been through, with their previous owners and the fall away they've had. It's good to see him fall on his feet, but it's good to see them as a club starting to come back up through the divisions and make a good account of the Championship that they're in now.
Yeah, absolutely. Paulie Walnuts puts one in there. The Van der Berg at Preston Player of the Season last year. I heard he did. I don't know if that's true, Kev. Do you?
Young
I heard that. So that's brilliant. The Bill Shankly stand tonight, the Cop stand is at Deepdale tonight. Obviously, one of the best players from back in the day, Shankly, a club legend there, and that's where the Liverpool fans will be tonight. Deepdale, it's a good traditional stadium. It's going to be rocking tonight, isn't it? And
I don't suppose over 20,000. Well, it used to.
Yeah, I'm not sure that the capacity
at one stage. What it is now,
I'm not sure of that. Well, look at that.
It's a massive,
and it's not far from Liverpool either. It's a big payday today. It's not far. It's probably an hour away, isn't it, Liverpool? And some of the travelling Copoites as well will love it there, especially tonight, based in the Bill Shankly Cop stand. That's going to be great. But look, we're going and playing aside with some tradition and history, and I think they were one of the first Invincibles, weren't they? in I can't remember when, but back in the day,
50s.
well before Arsenal, obviously in the 50s. Yeah, so there is a bit of history about them, you know.
I got a bit of grey, like I haven't got that much grey.
Yeah. No. Well, it wasn't when I seen the grey, Kev. I didn't start bringing it up because I seen that, but I know if anyone knows that stuff, particularly about them, you do. Because I know you know your football from back in the day. Yeah, look, it is big. It's a big game tonight. Obviously, as you said, they're into the quarters. Chelsea have progressed through, made hard work for last night. Arsenal were convinced enough, went through. And look, everyone's out to try and do as well in this as possible. Saturday, though, for me is a bigger game. And I've an eye on tonight. And I've a bigger eye if I have a bigger one, you know, on Arsenal, on Brighton the weekend. But I'm looking forward to tonight, as you said. Some of the youth players in there. I think we've only Firmino as possibly a strong fella to off the bench. Maybe you don't have to use them, do you?
Hopefully
Tyler
not.
Morton.
Yeah, hopefully not. But I think Tyler Morton is you come off, if you've never seen him before, if you think of and this is not to compare him, but if you think of the type of player that Javi was, get it, give it, keep it simple, likes a tackle, but he just gets the ball, is comfortable taking the ball in any situation and passing it and keeping it simple and keeping the game flowing. I think in that 6, physically, I think it might catch him out later in his career, but I think he's a lovely, cultured footballer. If you've never seen him, keep an eye out for him tonight. Yeah,
Kieran B as well says Taki will bag a goal tonight. Do you think so, Kev? I hope so too. He's done okay, hasn't he?
Yeah, he'll see his mate at Wolves that came from Salzburg and everyone raving about him, Hwang Hee-chan. We got the wrong one. He's going to have a bee in his bonnet about things like that, and he's going to want to, put his hand up and say, no, I'm a good player, and I'm a Liverpool player, and I'm capable. And I like him. I do like him as a footballer. Look, is he going to be the be-all and end-all at the top end of the Premier League? No. But you know what? You have a squad of 24 players. You need every type of player, and you need squad players. People who, and it's one thing that's very, 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 how can you put it? It's very crystal clear about this Liverpool squad. You don't hear murmurs from people crying and moaning that they're not getting minutes and they're not getting game time. Nothing is coming out of the club that says, Divock Origi is unhappy because of the amount of minutes he's getting. Taki's not happy because of the amount of minutes he's not getting. It's obvious as professional footballers, they want to play. But they're not complaining. And for me, that's why this competition is very important. But secondly, it just goes to show what type of manager Jurgen Klopp is, that everyone is still buying into this squad and the whole squad. I'm looking forward to seeing Tsimikas as well tonight, see what he can do. Every time I've watched him, he's just like, he gets you, what's he going to do now? He
does. He has that about him, and there was for a player that's so rusty, let's say, he hasn't played much for Liverpool. He came in at the start of the season, at the pre-season, he looked really well, and he was the perfect, I felt, backup for Robbo going forward, his defending, his discipline. Just the aura of him there, you just felt, yes, safe. There was times I got a little bit of Alberto Moreno vibes, but very little. But then he done an amazing thing. He went into a bad tackle, I think it was against Burnley, then done an amazing thing, got the ball out around 3 players, and then whips in a great delivery. But look, I mean, unless you're playing rugby in this Liverpool team, unless you're fully on it all the time, you're fully focused and concentrated, it's hard, isn't it, to come in and be expected to be a deputy to Trent or Robbo when they're probably the 2 best fullbacks currently in world football. So he's doing well, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it's great to see him getting started. Pity about Kelleher not being able to play tonight, isn't it?
It is,
clean sheets lately and for Ireland too.
Yeah, he's another one. He needs minutes, and anytime he's played, he's been absolutely nothing wrong with him whatsoever. He does the simple things really well. His distribution is fantastic, arguably up there, if not better than Alisson's in some ways. I think he's got great composure with his feet. He has. I mean, it might naff a few people off, but I think he's an absolute fantastic footballer. I'm biased, of course, like Cork by. But no, I mean, look, people shit the bed when this Adrian is going to play. Well, yeah, Adrian is going to play. He's an experienced keeper who is loved around the squad, And he's a part of the squad. He's a part of the club, and people can build a bridge and get over it, as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, and I think a lot of Liverpool fans. Yeah, exactly. But I think a lot of Liverpool fans now should accept, particularly when you look at the money that was spent and the net spend and all this. And I don't want to get into that. That's obviously a different thing. But this Liverpool team, harmony, having that unity, that togetherness, that never give up, that desire, that passion, everything that Jurgen Klopp stands for, everything that he epitomises, and everything that Liverpool Football Club as a club and as a city epitomises, that's sometimes better than technical quality, and sometimes you need that. When you're going to games and the going gets tough and you have to weather the storm, sometimes you need more of that than quality. It's not quality or world class you need. You need someone that, okay, decision making has to be good, the concentration, all that, but they need to feel wanted and they need to feel loved, and they also need to be able to hang on, that's my teammate, I'm giving everything for him. Where when you look at, and without going too much into United on the weekend, as I mentioned, off the ball, they were nothing. There was a lot of people giving up. They were mocking each other. I mean, Pogba, was another game, another haircut. Come on and done nothing. Like it was, what I mean? And that's not what you want.
Here's the thing.
Exactly. Yeah.
Kieran's got a comment in there. Look, and I agree with you. He gives me the heebie-jeebies on certain situations. He does. All right. But if anyone saw Southampton's goal against Chelsea last night and considered that their keeper, their £75 million, I can't even pronounce his flaming name, but £75 million keepers are capable of ricks and making mistakes. Adrian is capable of a rick and a mistake, and he doesn't do it intentionally. He's not going to go out of his way to have howlers. But in all fairness, he does the best he can. And I've no qualms with him in goal at all tonight, in all fairness. It is what it is.
Yeah, look, it is what it is, yeah.
I'd rather him get a game than one of the young kids and have them exposed just in case, the Patalugas of this world. Look, they're not pulling up any trees in the Europa League, the European Under-19 group that they're in at the minute. And between the two lads that are on the bench tonight, they're not exactly putting their hand up to demand that they be picked, because if they were, Klopp has shown in previous months and years that if you're good enough, he'll pick you. So if he's putting that,
and you also have to want it. Yeah. No, it's not. Look, I mean, Adrian is Adrian. We know, look, we all get a little bit, there's a pass there, but he's very experienced, can't take that away from him. And he's a professional goalkeeper. He's playing at an elite level under a manager like Jurgen Klopp, so he's doing a lot right. You know what I mean? Whatever we think, I think we're just picking holes at small things because there's nothing really to pick out at, because everything is going well. We've had a perfect start to the season. We're flourishing. We've momentum. We've confidence. We've belief. We've had success, and it looks like to me, the way we started off this season, that hunger and aggression and desire, that we're going to continue to have success. So I'm not worried. And look, I'm not one that's ever too worried about this cup either. I always believe everything happens for a reason. I look at the positives, the glass half full rather than half empty. If we were, I don't think we'll go out tonight, but normally when we do that, in the past, the league was more important, the Champions League. But now that we've won them, maybe it is time to have a go at these cups and give it our all. And look, if we go out, we gave it our all. We went with good teams. But at this level, away to Norwich, away to Preston, we were never going to go big. Not with the weeks with international football, Kev, and Champions League coming up. It's not something that we... Not that we could have done without, but it's not something that we're going to go anywhere near full strength in. Absolutely. So
we've made 11 changes. There's no one playing tonight that started at the weekend. So we have made the necessary changes. If it was a case that we didn't have the injuries in midfield that we do, then I'd say you might struggle to see any of the kids tonight. I wouldn't have been a bit surprised if Thiago, if he was fit, might have played tonight, or Naby might have played tonight, because he might not have played at the weekend against United. So
they don't get a lot of game time, do they? The midfielders, like when you look at it, so they do.
Ox is desperate for minutes. He desperately needs minutes, and in fairness to him, his last few substitutional appearances, he's done okay.
Particularly at the end of last season, away at Burnley, he's come on a couple of games last season. I can't remember all the run in at United, but he done really well. Very direct, went for goal and kept it simple. And now with Milner out injured, with Harvey Elliott, with Thiago, with Naby Keita, I don't think that's long term. It sounds good from what Pep Linders was saying yesterday in the press conference. But there's a chance now for Ox to come back in and show it. If he gets a goal tonight, an assist, or puts in a good performance, we're all saying, okay, we're okay with Ox now the weekend. And that's what it's about, you know, and that's what a squad is there for. It's 24 players.
Yeah, take the
Diogo goal Jota throws in there. Tsimikas screamer tonight. Yeah, let's hope so. I mean, it would be nice, wouldn't it, for someone like a Tsimikas or a Nico Williams or a Gomez, someone to score.
Yeah, it's the only thing that's missing really from Andy Robertson's locker is that arriving late on the left wing and having that rasper of a shot that he tries now and again. He just doesn't get enough on target for me. And Tsimikas has a sweet left foot. He strikes a lovely ball. So,
he's unbelievable.
If you were a betting man, not
saying why not? Yeah, 50 cents or euros worth it.
Say thank you to Diogo goal.
Diogo goal Jota. Yeah, I love the name. Yeah, it's definitely a nickname for Diogo Jota. Anyone from Preston tonight that's a threat? I know the Danish lad they have. I don't think he's played for the first team yet. Reece Jacobsen is the top scorer.
I haven't seen the Preston lineup. The one that when I look back, there was that's a constant in their league performances, in their league games, is Scott Sinclair, and I've seen a lot of him over his career. And he's a neat and tidy, nippy little forward that
very nippy, yeah.
If he finds space, he'll run at players. He's one if he's playing to keep an eye on.
Yeah, I haven't seen it now either. If anyone wants to throw in the comments there, I didn't actually see. I seen the Liverpool one, but when I went to look for the Preston one, I hadn't come out yet. So if anyone has the Preston lineup, throw it in there. I know the weekend, Alan Brown was sent off.
He's a lovely passer of a ball when he plays for Ireland. Yeah. When he has played for Ireland in the past.
He is very good. And Whiteman, Johnson, Yerl as well in that team are really good players. Like they're good. That fullback, I think he plays left full, the Welsh fullback for them in is that Andrew Hughes? I think he plays. Yeah, he's doing okay as well for them. But they're not scoring many gols this season.
No, I don't watch enough of them to know. You keep an eye out for their results because of Van der Berg playing for them. But in general, I don't keep an eye out. I don't watch them. So
yeah. I'm not sure now. But look, Preston, I'm sure will have made changes. Yeah, it is. Yeah, Ox to come out and unsketched midfield is skinny enough as it is. Actually is. Yeah, and I just mentioned that I think Thiago Kieran Beatronin is back in training soon. We don't know really about Naby Keita. Well, Harvey Elliott is the new year.
Harvey will be new year. Fabinho should be back for the weekend. Henderson will be back for the weekend. Naby's touch and go. Thiago's probably next week. So odds are one of Ox or Curtis will play tonight or will start at the weekend. So keeping an eye on the substitutions on the hour to see what happens there. To see who he
absolutely. And we can make, how many subs can we make in the League Cup? Is it a little bit different? Five. Yeah, so that's positive, you know. There's a couple of lads there in the bench as well, but there's Gar Jericho throws in any excitations of that young Tyler Morton he's talking about tonight, lads.
I like him, Gar.
Yeah, very good from what I've seen, so let's hope so. Do you think so, Kev?
I do. Look, he's not going to give you goals and assists, but he'll keep the ball moving from left to right. His passing is over 10, 15 yards. Very, very good. He's very good at taking the ball in pressure situations, you know, and to take it in the half turn and giving it off really simple. I like him as a player. I'd be surprised if he's either not banging on the door of the first team squad next season or looking to go out on a good loan to get some proper first team experience next year. You know, he's definitely one for the future for sure.
Absolutely, and I'm not sure if he's a local lad. I don't think so, is he? But I know he's been at Liverpool a long time.
Been at the club for a long time.
Yeah, and I don't know a lot about them. And look, same with Preston, as I said, a little bit of history and how they've done of late. I know the last win they got, I think it might have been Coventry. They played at home, but look, as someone did, Kieran Beatronin there earlier, as we said, they're 19th in the league. Blackpool beating them the weekend, a 6th clear. But this is, look, all that goes out the window. Tonight is a final for them. This is one. Deepdale will be hopping. I know 1 or 2 going to it tonight as well, which is great. Fair play to them going to Lancashire and possibly make it up to Liverpool then. later on the week they will. But yeah. But look, fair play to everybody thrown in the comments there. It's great to see tonight. A couple of likes at the moment. There's 81 watching, which is great, particularly for the fourth round of the League Cup. But look, we're all on the high, aren't we? From the weekend, it was unbelievable. What a result! What a performance! One of our biggest and best ever league victories. You know what I mean? Because of who it was and where it was and where we were at, where they were at, and
I think it's for me, it was the manner of it. It was the manner of it. Yeah. When we went 5-0 up, and we decided, look. You know, it was like heavyweight boxer who's like 6'7" against a 5'8" welterweight. It's like put arm there, swing away there, you're grand. That's what it felt like to me. You know, it was. I mean, to me, that was more embarrassing and more damaging to them than any kind of 6 or 7 or 8 or 9 goals would have been. The fact that they were literally toyed with and exposed as a truly bad side. Badly managed, badly coached, poor mentally. There's nothing positive anything slightly positive that they thought they could take away from that game after the first half is gone. They were just in every conceivable way totally and utterly destroyed. You know, and how they come back against. They're lucky, in fairness, that it's Spurs that they're playing next. Another truly bad side. Yeah. You know, if they were coming
they are. They've had I expected a little bit better from them when they got that first win the season against City. But look, I mean, City were poor. But Spurs were good in that day, but they never really. They got the first 3 wins that they didn't concede. They looked like things might turn around, but it didn't last for long. You know what I mean? A couple of people thrown in there.
If they were playing a West Ham now or someone like that, someone who go at them, then I'd fear for that. I wouldn't. I'd love it. You know. But,
But have a go at them and think. We've actually West Ham as well coming up soon. But look, we'll go anything else to add, Kev, on tonight.
I'm looking forward to this now.
No, thanks myself. It's one of those games I'm gonna watch, and I'm not going in with anxiety or being nervous about because it's no stress tonight. You know, I'm really looking forward to it. It'll be a bit more now. It'll be heightened on Saturday. At 3 o'clock when we take on Brighton, but let's see, and I'm hoping then obviously to go. I'm hoping then to go to the Atletico Madrid then next week game, so that'll be a big one, and that again could be a game where we've everything sealed and done, and we might be ready more than ever now going into the busy Christmas festive period of Premier League games. So we'll see what happens, but. Shout out to everybody in the comments and likes tonight. Remember, I think Carnage is on tomorrow. Grizz is doing a show, and then Friday, I think, is it yourself and Gav on Friday?
By the weekend come up, I haven't even looked to see what's going on at the minute, but myself and Gav have entertained you guys some way, shape, or form.
I look forward to tuning in. Fair play to you. It's great to get you on, Kev. You're very wise, wisdom, a lot of stuff. And look, on this, it's just our own opinion, no experts by any means, but it's good to bring up a couple of facts. And even, look, Liverpool, a bit of sentiment tonight going to Deepdale with Shankly being a legend there, the Bill Shankly Cop stand tonight. You know, it's something good, especially after a big win at Old Trafford, you know. So obviously that just gives us more on our thoughts. Okay, we'll end it there then, folks. Thanks to everybody for tuning in. And that's the end of it. Enjoy the game and come on, the Reds.